We have a very popular Social Security bill right now. Take a look at this. This bill would stop the overpayment and clawbacks and limit it in this bill. I'm going to give you the details of this as it's getting the most publicity at the moment. Also, we're going to hear from Representative Larson.
And I don't know how people look themselves in the mirror when you go home and realize that there's 5 million of our fellow Americans, most women, who get below poverty level checks from the wealthiest nation in the world's insurance program.
Play the full video clip of what Representative Larson said there, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So, Social Security overpayment reimbursement would be limited by this new bill. So this is actually, every time I do research for these videos to see which bills are gaining traction or have been reintroduced or introduced to Congress, this one actually got a lot of publicity lately. It's fairly new, so I'm going to go over this bill. But first, let's take a listen to Representative Larson on Social Security.
And what an honor to be here with so many incredible advocates on behalf of Social Security. The genius of Franklin Delano Roosevelt could never be more apparent than on a day like this. And as Commissioner O'Malley has discussed in front of our committee, the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly, and the #1 anti-poverty program for children as well. The genius of Roosevelt and the commitment of Biden and Harris, for the first time in more than 50 years, we're talking not just about protecting Social Security, but about expanding it and paying for it, and doing so in a manner that's caught everybody's attention. I do this frequently in the district and say to people, raise your hand if you're making more than $400,000. And believe it or not, I have never had a hand go up, well, except once in East Hartford, my hometown. A guy raised his hand, and I knew him. I looked at him and says, you're making $400,000? He said, no, but it felt good to raise my hand. And indeed, to think that this lies in front of us, and the ability, and that Congress has not acted in more than 50 years is more than annoying to me, but we are confident because of the advocacy in this room. And when I say that, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but as the Sisters of Notre Dame would say, it's the choir that leads the singing. And we're counting on all of you to lead that singing and to make sure that over the next several months that we get that message out there. A message, by the way, and let me again single out Commissioner O'Malley here. You know, here it is, the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and for children, the nation's largest insurance policy, the #1 program for the country. Now, I come from an insurance capital of the world. And you know what it takes to administer insurance programs? Administrative costs, anywhere between 15 and 25%. Commissioner O'Malley, as he testified before our committee, administers the largest Social Security plan, the largest insurance plan in the country, for under 1%. At its height, as he pointed out, it was 1.2%. I think it should be 1.5. Give him the ability, give him the technology, give him the help so that we can execute these plans and there won't be any long lines. And when you have someone that's that dedicated and is going around the country and talking to all these individual agencies, it's inspirational to them, and hopeful that finally we'll have a Congress and bills that get this done on behalf of the American people. That's why it's so vitally important. The numbers speak for themselves. 70 million Americans on Social Security. 10,000 baby boomers a day becoming eligible. If you don't think that that's not a kitchen table issue that people are talking about when they look and say, hey, wait a minute, what happened here? Is this, you mean Congress hasn't acted in more than 50 years? And now as a baby boomer, I'm retiring? I think we're going to hear this loud and clear from everyone. 10,000 baby boomers a day. And yet, and I don't know how people look themselves in the mirror when you go home and realize that there's 5 million of our fellow Americans, most women, who get below poverty level checks from the wealthiest nation in the world's insurance program. These are the kinds of things that President Biden saw and Vice President Harris saw as well, and the commissioner is fighting for, is to make sure that no one who works and pays in their quarters to Social Security will retire into poverty. We seek to make sure that there is across-the-board enhancements, to make sure that we're taking care of these people, especially those who've worked and paid in all their lives. We also want to make sure that we get rid of the programs like WEP and GPO that have been damaging to our municipalities, especially our school teachers and firefighters and police officers. Come on. This is 2024. Congress hasn't done anything since 1971. About time we looked at this, don't you think? And it's about time we corrected what was wrong, including making sure that you get a tax break on Social Security. You shouldn't be taxed on your Social Security, something we've had in the bill every year since 2014. We're glad others are now joining with that and echoing that comment, but we are bound and determined to make sure that people understand, as they do, that this is an earned income that's yours and yours to keep. That's why it's the most successful economic development program that you could possibly have in a district. I give every member of Congress a card that has on it how many people in their district receive Social Security, and then break it down to pensioners, to spouses, to dependents, to people with disabilities, and then say the most astounding thing to them. And here's on average what comes into your district monthly. On average, over $200 million. And where do they spend that money? Right back in your district. There is no better economic development plan than the enhancing of Social Security. The genius of Franklin Delano Roosevelt is ever present, but it's going to take the advocacy of the people in this room to make sure that we drive this message home. I thank the White House today for singling out the 89th anniversary of Social Security and making sure that we have competent people carrying out that goal like Commissioner O'Malley. Thank you so much.
What are your thoughts on Representative Larson? Very passionate as usual. All right, so Social Security overpayment reimbursement would be limited by the new bill. So what bill is this? Well, Social Security checks are sent to seniors and those living with disabilities each month, but occasionally the SSA agency overpays Americans in their benefit amount. However, many of these errors aren't discovered until years later, and the SSA ends up sending overpayment for thousands of dollars. But a new bill will help recipients who have been served overpayment notices under the Protecting Americans for Social Security Clawback Act. The SSA would only be able to ask for overpayments back for 3 years. So what we're saying is, listen, if you couldn't get your act together and notify these people within a 3-year window, then you're not going to have to collect that money and you're going to have to waive it. So this is coming from Representative Mike Carroll. This is roughly 1 million people receive overpayment notices each year, and many have no way to pay the agency back as they rely on their Social Security checks as their full income. Carey said the bill, if passed, would help those beneficiaries who find themselves in that conundrum while facing hardship. So this is co-sponsored by a few other people in Congress. And what Carey said is, I think this is the first step, and I do think we need to make sure that Social Security has the tools that they need to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So with this Social Security Clawback Act, this is presented in Congress. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated on whether or not this gets more traction. It's definitely got a lot of publicity in the press. I've seen a bunch of articles on this, so they're doing something right there. Whether or not it gets a vote is a different story. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella's tip of the day. I want to say that never let bad vibes take over you. You have to let the good vibes just let you free. You have to always be good and always be humble and always be great to everybody. And I love making these tip of the days for you guys because you guys are my friends. Bye! I want to do a tip of the day. Hi guys. Hi. This is my tip of the day. I want to say, don't go in the road. If you cross, you'll get smushed. And have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your support. If you want to check out the latest on Trump versus Harris when it comes to the polls, but specifically with Social Security, you're going to want to click this video over here as I give you the exact numbers. Pretty shocking and surprising numbers, actually. Trump versus Harris just on Social Security, not the polls in general. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.